try to find the sunny side of life.
Hi, I'm Harry Marks, and this is Let's All Go to the Lobby, your introduction to the film you're about to watch. Up next is Hitchcock's 1963 horror film about strange bird attacks in a sleepy California town. The bird celebrates its 60th birthday today, March 28th, and is no less terrifying now than it was back in 1963. The premise is simple. California's bird population has started attacking the locals, unaliving and pecking the eyes out of people for no reason. The film was partly inspired by a short story by British author Daphne du Maurier, in which birds attack a disabled war veteran at his English home. But there was also a very real series of bird attacks that had occurred in the seaside town of Capitola, California in 1961. Experts didn't know it at the time, but the birds were reacting to a strain of toxic algae, which had caused them to fly into homes and cars without warning. When it came time to cast the role of Mitch Brenner, Hitchcock turned to Cary Grant, who had starred in his 1959 thriller North by Northwest. But Grant wanted a hefty sum for the role. Hitchcock refused to pay. By now, he had established himself as a name, with films like Psycho and Vertigo under his belt. He figured the audience would come to see a horror movie about attacking birds no matter who was in the lead role, as long as Hitchcock's name was attached to it. The Birds film was an intense production, requiring the use of 3,000 real birds along with about $200,000 worth of mechanical birds for certain shots. The scene where crows overtake a jungle gym on a school playground was done using mostly fake birds, with a few real ones scattered in to create hints of movement. Although the real birds were well trained, they could also be unpredictable. Rod Taylor, for example, carried on a lengthy feud with one particular bird named Archie that would go out of its way to peck at the star, even when they weren't filming together. Taylor once said, quote, "Every morning, if we were on the set together, he'd come over and bite me. I hated him and he hated me." One time, Taylor arrived on set and asked if Archie was working. He was assured that no, the actor would be working with the seagulls that day, when out of nowhere, Archie flew out of the rafters and attacked Taylor. Tippi Hedren also faced her own set of problems during filming, though none involved the birds themselves. Makeup artist Howard Smith had applied fake injuries to the actress following a harrowing attack scene. Upon his completion, Hedren looked in the mirror and said, quote, "Pardon me, Howard," before leaving her trailer and immediately vomiting. She also found hardship in working with Hitchcock himself. Cast and crew reported the director's obsession with actress Hedren, who rejected his advances several times during production. At one point, it was alleged that Hitchcock deliberately injured her while filming the phone booth scene after Hedren had rebuffed him for the last time. Broken glass from the booth resulted in numerous cuts to the actress's face. Hitchcock took things a step further upon meeting Hedren's 6-year-old daughter, Melanie Griffith, when he gave her a doll of her mother as a gift. It was presented to the child inside a miniature coffin. The Birds, much like Hitchcock himself, faced mixed reviews. The Washington Post called it gorgeous good fun, while the Los Angeles Times mostly panned it. But as with most Hitchcock films, it took time for The Birds to improve its standing with audiences and critics, and it is widely seen as one of his best and scariest films. So shut your windows and close off your chimneys. From Universal, starring Rod Taylor, Jessica Tandy, Suzanne Pleshette, and of course, Tippi Hedren, here's Alfred Hitchcock's feather-flying horror flick, The Birds.